ShadBros, and already I can tell that we're having like major delays in our connection here. So before we go any further, let's see if we can fix that. The video camera is not cooperating.
Oh, Lordy. It's the Angelique or Judah Zachary. It's Judah Zachary again.
Probably Judah.
Mm-hmm. That son of a bitch.
When he's not when he's not terrorizing the Collins family, he's telling Dorothy Zbornak that she should get a permanent and
right? Oh, you're tired.
getting Edith
with
Bunker
disdain in his voice.
getting Edith Bunker fired from her job at the Sunshine Home.
Eat it. He never played a nice guy, did he?
No, it's funny. Almost every time you see him, including Highway to Heaven, where he's not wearing his toupee. I think that like he has a son who's a basketball player in high school, and he's driving the kid too hard. It's he's like this overzealous sports father. If I'm not mistaken, that was his character on Highway to Heaven. Yeah. Just bear with us here, guys. I'm trying to see if we can figure this out because there's such a delay on this end.
I think that's as good as it's going to get. I'm trying to figure it out.
We're going to be delayed. Okay. So hopefully you won't get too frustrated, but maybe it'll just fix itself.
Tech is tech, right? It's great until it's not.
It's great until it's the one thing you can count on about technology. It cannot be counted on. I think I said a few. This is episode 31, and if you're just now turning in, my name is Peter Mack, and I've been involved in fandom. Let's see here. I started going to the conventions in 1990 when I was 12, but I was first introduced to the show on Monday, April 12th, 1980, when it started reruns on NBC. That was the first time I ever saw the show. And it had a profound effect on me, the hand coming out of the box and those early Barnabas episodes. And then from there, we moved over to New Jersey Network, which reran it in the mid-'80s. And then finally, the VHS tapes came out in 1989.
This is way slower than it's ever been.
And we're trying to fix this, guys. We apologize. Started going to the conventions and became friends with several of the actors on the show and got to work with them, most notably Laura Parker, Angelique, who is probably our dearest friend from the Dark Shadows group, but along with Marie Wallace and Nancy Barrett, also worked with Donna Wandry on a project with Marie called Shadows Over Halloween. So, and I spend most of my time in musical theater, cabaret. I am a tribute artist. I work primarily as Judy Garland and a cadre of other golden age of Hollywood and Broadway ladies. And I also perform as myself. And now I will turn it over to Michael Panzerato.
Hello. My name is indeed Michael Panzerato. It's interesting, Peter, that you mentioned remembering the date of when you saw the show. I don't remember the date. I can only say that it was announced on WBFF Channel 45 in Baltimore at the same time that my uncle, who worked for General Motors, got his hand crushed in the machine. And I remember, this is a terrible thing, I was excited because my cousins were coming to stay with us while they were all at the hospital. And we were going to a mall and looking out the back window of the car thinking, I cannot wait, Dark Shadows is coming on. I have my cousins with me, and this show is going to be great. I've been waiting my whole life to see it. So from then on, it was a love story. Barnabas became a quick idol for me, and then as a Jonathan Frid. So I am an actor, most attached to Lost in Space. I do Jonathan Harris and Dr. Smith, and there is a film where I am voicing Dr. Smith. It's not available yet, but hopefully, and I'm knocking on wood, everything will get resolved. The chap who is the chappie who is working so hard, the Scotty on board this enterprise, is Dr. DJ Schaefer.
Hey guys, I'm DJ. I'm trying to fix this, so I apologize. I'm not more present at the moment. If I look down at my phone, it's because I'm trying to get comments from you guys. We want to have this be an interactive show.
Yeah, we want your comments and questions. And again, if you're new, if you're a newbie, please hit like and subscribe, people. But I think that's because they don't like my politics, which I do not apologize for. If Catherine Lee Scott...
It seems faster now. You guys should be able to see us again.
Let's see. Are people still there?
Yep, we still have folks watching.
Okay.
We've caught up a little bit.
Sorry, we're trying here, guys. We're trying to get the... Now it looks like we're kind of in a better place, so we get Michael... Pardon me. We get Michael back in, and we can keep going with this.
Thank you, Andrew. It's better.
It's better now. Okay, that's good. That's good.
As I break the number one rule and eat a pretzel on screen.
I think that's okay. I think that's all right. I think the audience will forgive you. But I was saying, oh yes, happy birthday, Carrie. You are so welcome for the birthday wishes.
Hello, my fellow Pisces, right?
Well, yeah, it just passed. It just passed. And Jessica's here, who is
We love you, Jessica.
an honorary Dark ShadBro.
She's Dark Shad Pro.
She's Dark Shad Pro. Anybody who's tuning back in, or again, like and subscribe. If you haven't done that, guys, please do it. I was saying we gain and we lose depending, but that's all right. That's all right. I think it's usually the political stuff that drives people away. And what are you going to do? Last time I checked, it was a free country, so...
A lot of stuff happening in fandom, right?
Oh, there's a lot of stuff
Merchandise
happening.
coming out.
There's a lot of... Yeah,
book?
I don't know if you, there's a big, beautiful coffee table book. It's pricey, but it looks like it's going to be worth it. Dark Shadows Noir. It's this big, beautiful coffee table book with, I think it's 225 pages and a lot of never-before-seen on-set photos from Dan Curtis's private archives. So that's coming out just in time for the big 6-0. I believe that it was just announced David Selby is going to be at a theater. Is it at UCLA?
Mm-hmm.
And they're screening 3 episodes of Dark Shadows on the anniversary on June 27th. And he will be there with Jim Pearson, who I know worked for Dan Curtis and who was very much in charge of the big Dark Shadows events, including this one that's coming up in... we got him back?
Hello,
we
gorgeous.
got our bro back?
I
Broski.
think
There
so.
he is.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
And we're
Can you
caught
hear
up.
me?
Yes, and the camera caught up.
And we're caught up.
Excellent. Excellent.
So yeah, look for that big...
I love when shit works. I mean stuff.
We're going to get letters.
Look for that book. It's through Hermes Press, I believe, is putting the Dark Shadows Noir book out. They've done all of the Marilyn Ross reissues and some of the comic book stuff and the paper dolls and all of those wonderful things. So, but this looks like a crown jewel. And then the other book is Catherine, I believe. Catherine and, oh gosh, major television producer, John Wells.
John Wells.
John Wells. I think the book is called Dark Shadows: The Legacy, and that's going to be yet another coffee table book that's coming out in time for the anniversary. And I'm absolutely overjoyed. My friend Sis, who I got caught up in all of this, she's from Tennessee. This is how she talks. She's like, I didn't know anything about this Dark Shadows shit till y'all brought me into it, and now I'm watching other shows and seeing what's going on. She's like, you might be pleased to know, allegedly, they're reissuing Josette's music box. Now, I almost creamed in my pants, except the question is, are we getting a really nice one made of metal and glass with a lid that's actually attached? Or are we getting the dinky plastic one that's been around for years and years? So, but she filled me in on that. She's like, there is allegedly a Josette's music box coming out, so I haven't been able to find any information on it. So if anyone does, and fingers crossed that it's not a piece of crap like the one we've had for years, because we want a real one. We want the real Megillah.
My understanding is that it's going to be plastic and have a Band-Aid on the back, so it was just like the one on the show.
Like,
Black
well,
tape.
that's
Bit of black tape.
but that's the thing about the one they did. Whoever showed them the picture was an early photo of the music box, and they even replicated the piece of beige tape on the thing. It's crazy. They went that literal with it that they printed on the piece of packing tape.
Does it play both tunes or just the tune they ended up going with throughout for the rest of the
just Robert Coberts. Just Robert Coberts, not Robert Farnans. Yeah.
You know, somebody posted it. It was a music box, and they were using Josette's tune on another soap opera I saw on Facebook this week. One Life to Live or something, or something like that. Days of Our Lives. I couldn't believe my. It was like blatant.
That they were using the song.
Yeah. On another music
box.
box.
The guy said he gifted a woman the music box in the episode, and she opened it up, and lo and behold, it was not the same music box,
right?
Square thing, but it played Josette's song. I could not believe it.
Just like Robert Farnan's version that they started with, ABC probably bought Robert Cobert's version and put it in their library.
Like 20th Century Fox, the shows, you could see all of that stuff going back and forth between Batman and Lost in Space and Time Tunnel and Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. The equipment went across the board. It's wild.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I keep seeing stuff on boards about, there's the great debate about, this is for another time, not tonight's topic, but a reboot. Do we want a reboot? No, we don't want a reboot. Yes, we do want a reboot. I think we're all team. We would like a reboot. We're all team. We would like a reboot. And
the three of us, you mean?
Yeah, the three of us.
Yeah. Bob is going to stroke out. Watch. We'll see in a minute.
I know. There's a few people who watch that don't want a reboot. The reason I bring this up is...
We love you, Bob, but just fun.
The reason I bring this up is because... Little House on the Prairie is getting a reboot, and they finally announced it's July 9th of this year. And it hasn't even aired yet, and they've already picked up a season 2 for it. They've already greenlit a second season for it.
And July 9th, you said?
July 9th of 2026 is when the first season will premiere. And Alison Arngrim, Nellie Olson, she's become kind of the matriarch of the Little House family. I must say that cast has all been really cool. Alison Arngrim, Dean Butler, Karen Grassley. They're like, we're with it. We're behind them. They're going to do their own thing. And we kind of have to, we did our thing, and that's great. And they're going back to the source material because Michael Landon made a lot of stuff up for that original series. So she's like, we need to respect. And this is my idea, especially with what I've been seeing with tonight's topic. Yes. I'm the same way. It has to be set in 1966. It's the only way it's going to work. It's the only way it's going to work is if it's set in the 60s. But in doing the research that I was for tonight, and you go back and realize between 1966 and 1967, there's a lot of source material that was dropped by the time we got to 1795. And so, hang on a second, wait a minute. And so... I think you could go back to storylines that were dropped pertaining to the origins of the Collins family and Barnabas and Jeremiah. And you could work, because there was some interesting stuff that was talked about, but it never happened by the time we got to 1795. They came up with all brand new ideas. So I would go back to that original source material that was talked about in passing about Josette and Jeremiah, and who did she really come to marry, and how did she wind up with Barnabas. All of that stuff could make for a very interesting new Dark Shadows. Just my 2 cents.
Agree.
You know what's funny about that is I was watching the episode prior, or maybe it was the same, before the costume party, right? And when Vicky pulls out the dress or the suit that was Jeremiah's suit, and she's talking about you see Barnabas get irritated. He sort of yanks it out of her hand when he puts it back in the thing. And all I
Yes.
could think of was, B. Arthur, give me that. Give me
Give
that.
me that.
That's all I could think about when I watched it. But you're absolutely right. I kind of think that a lot myself. Why don't they try something like actually honoring some of these backstories, a little bit? That would be really cool.
Because they all had different ideas between Ron Sproat and Malcolm and even Sam. I mean, there's stuff that you hear and you go, and then there's all kinds of theories as to why the stuff that was talked about. I'll say this. Someone asked Barbara Eden recently, why did they,
You can say your name.
why did, what, well, I don't remember who it was.
Oh, I thought
it was an interviewer. No, it was a random interviewer and saying, so why did Jeannie and Tony get married? And she went, because they wrote it that way. That's
Yeah.
it. A lot of fans don't like that answer. I know your dad, Michael, had that because it was in the script. That's how they wrote it.
Right. It was in the script. Now shut up and watch the movie.
There are some podcasters that do not accept that, and which is cool. They come up with their own ideas as to why the things we heard about in 66 and 67 did not play out when Vicky went back to 1795. But the honest truth was the writing staff had changed.
The thing is, I would rather see something like that rather than go through the whole, Barnabas and his cane being used. Although I love Joel Carruthers and his turn on Nathan Forbes, how he changed. But that whole thing gets kind of dull for me after a while. The whole cane missing, he has the cane and he's strangling people and things of that nature.
Right.
I'd love to see something new. That would be great.
So again, I
Dig
think
up those storylines.
if they give us, if they take the bones, if they take the really important stuff, Vicky's arrival and Barnabas and all that stuff, but you got to let writers are going to say, well, can we come up with our own new twists and turns?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you got, and then that's what they're going to do with this Little House on the Prairie thing. And I realize that living on the frontier, the prairie, is not quite the same as supernatural stuff, but still, it's a beloved show that
Cult
following that just garnered 18,000 fans in Simi Valley. They had to have, it was like the Beatles, they had to have barricades.
And what was your max? 12,000 fans at one of the festivals?
I think in 1993, I think we had at the Marriott Marquis for the Dark Shadows Fest that we had like 13,000.
13,000.
I think. Someone would know that better than me, but I think we had 13,000 that year in 1993.
I've been to festivals where there's been 6,000 and change in a weekend.
If you went to the Las Vegas Festival in 1998,
There was 30 people.
oh my God, you could go through the autograph line 4 times. That was the turnout for the Las Vegas Festival. It was one of the smallest turnouts ever.
What year was that?
That was 1998.
BJ.
Oh my goodness! I never made any of them. Tragically, I never got to meet anybody. I've never been to any of the festivals. I do know though they're talking about that David Selby, when he came to Baltimore, had to be helicoptered off the street because he couldn't get through. So the show is popular. Somebody I just saw on a podcast, Brent Spiner and Jonathan Frakes have a podcast now, and they were talking to somebody, I think he's a writer or something, and he was, Jonathan Frakes said, Star Trek will go on forever, blah, 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 and this writer said, if it doesn't get backed by a network, and if it doesn't get the blah, 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 it could become something that's just nostalgic, like Dark Shadows or something like that. And I wanted to put a comment and said, I find that I disagree with that. I don't think Dark Shadows is just nostalgic. I think it has as much as Star Trek, in a sense, strong of a body of fans as anything else. I don't find it, there are people that live on that, I ran home to see it, and that's the end of their story. But most people that are watching Dark Shadows are very into the series, far more than nostalgia. It means something to them, like X-Men.
And though people don't want to hear this, I don't know anybody watching now because people keep going into boards, or I say boards, but Facebook groups, and they will inevitably put up a picture of Johnny Depp, and this is usually a recipe for disaster.
Indeed.
But
Yeah.
many people will say, I did watch the Depp movie, I did enjoy
used
it,
it as an
and
avenue.
it led me to the series, which I am now loving. So if it brings people to the original, which I think it ultimately will, it was not in vain. It wasn't the movie we wanted.
You're right, and that's what I tell people. I always use the Depp Dark Shadows as a springboard to say, if you've not, I'm not talking about the Johnny Depp. If you've seen that and like, but you need to look at the show. It's much more serious and has much more. That it's always a springboard for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So it will lead people to the.
I will say this really quickly. I know we're off topic, but if you have not watched the new Starfleet Academy series, it's a must-watch. You just mentioned Jonathan Frakes, and he actually is directing many of the episodes. The first of the finale was this week, and next week is the final finale for the series, for the season, not the series. It's gotten picked up for another year. So please try and watch it. It's really, really remarkable. Very, very sweet. Let's see. We have some Oh, you'll love it. Jessica says, Dark Shadows is a safe space for big emotions. That it's official permission for us to highly sensitive folks to feel something and relate to the characters.
Absolutely.
We agree with you 100%.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll tell you, with doing the research for tonight and then doing research for an upcoming podcast that we're going to do, there's so many things that you forget. Even if I haven't watched the show in a year, I'm like, holy smoke, I forgot that. I forgot they did that. I forgot that twist in the story. And actually right now what I'm speaking of is 1795 itself. There's a lot of twists and turns in 1795 that I'm like, it's my favorite storyline, and yet I forgot about it. So, and
the show is so damn good that I'm going into this researching for Sarah, and I found it was the night before last. I'd started off with her talking with David and ended up in my God, it was like a colored episode when Maggie walks in. The first colored episode when Maggie sees Barnabas. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be watching for Sarah, and I got so wrapped up in the story, even though I've seen it 1,000 times, that now I'm episodes in again, and I have to go back and look for her. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. And that brings us to the topic of tonight's conversation, Sarah, the friendly ghost. Who is adorable with her full-on Philadelphia accent.
Barnabas.
That just made it more endearing. Her that full-on Philadelphia accent that she had. We first see her after Barnabas has imprisoned Maggie in the cell. The cell that takes, depending upon what day of the week it is, it can take 20 minutes to walk to that cell, or you can just wrap around from the coffin room and there it is.
You hear Barnabas's footfall as he's walking down steps and up steps and through hallways and all that. Yes, sir. I have to say right out of the gate that Sarah is a very upsetting character for me. And okay. I love the character, but she's very upsetting because of the conversation she has with Willie when he tells her, you got to get out of here. And he says, well, where's your family? And she says, I don't know. I keep searching for them, and I can't find them. And she says, but I do live there. And all that's the beginning of her odyssey for me. And I find that so sad and unsettling. The thought of a child who just cannot find her family with no real,
she's a lost soul.
Way to do so. Yes, and it's for an adult, okay, I can but when it's a child that young, it breaks your heart, And then you wonder, what does she see? What can she see? I think for if they do a reboot, this is stuff they could really feast on. She was more missioned, I think, in the revival. She had a specific goal to save her family from Angelique, but in the original series, she was just kind of doing things back and forth at the moment when she needed. It
I
seemed
wanted
like
to
to
bring
me.
that up.
What do you think?
I'm glad you said that, Michael. Like, let's not be afraid to talk about Veronica Lauren and her Sarah Collins, because
Mm-hmm.
again, they kind of,
I
I won't
enjoyed
say
it.
they took her in another direction, but rather than having her appear because of Barnabas's release, with get eradicating the ghost of Josette, they bring Sarah. Sarah's already there. Sarah's already there. She's already established
Yeah,
a friendship with David. So that was clever. That was clever that she was already there and keeping an eye on David.
yeah, I thought so too. It was really cool, and she's
Yeah.
very sweet. And she's one thing I have to say that I thought about during watching all of this and watching Barnabas v. Sarah um, is how intelligent it seemed to me the writing. Perhaps it just happened this way, but when they wrote these characters and these two children of the two product of one marriage, that you see the mother and the father in each child. You see Joshua and Barnabas, especially post curse,
Yes.
and you see Joshua and Sarah in that we talk about that will that the Collinses have, like they're great until you piss them off, but then you see the very tender side, like the mother. It really struck me watching all of this about Barnabas and Sarah. Like, wow, did they do that on purpose, or was it just sort of
We said this.
serendipitous zeitgeist, you know?
We said this previously. My feeling is that Naomi had a very strong influence on Barnabas and Jeremiah because they were the same age, and that
Mm,
they were both extremely. They were empaths, where Joshua was not. They
right.
were, very kind to the servants and very loving to Ben. And so she she influenced those two boys a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Incluso very much the daughter
Yes.
too. But Sarah seemed to have a little bit of a more in some ways a mean streak. And what I mean by mean streak, perhaps stubborn would
Yes.
be the better
Yes.
uh, thing. I mean, she didn't back down a lot of time. And blowing the doors open to to save Julia, which sometimes I don't know if she's saving Julia or just she wanted to get on straighten Barnabas out, you know. But
Yes.
she didn't always come. There was no "I'll be there, I'll keep you safe," where that you would see from the one in the revival. This was like, if I show up, you're lucky. If I don't, well, I guess you're unlucky. You know, you get more of a ghostly kind of like a genuine ghosty kind of thing from the original Sarah than you got from I
Hold.
think the.
Hold that thought. I'm just reading
You
this
think
comment
so?
here. There is a reference to Elizabeth that she was friends with Sarah as a young child. Oh my God, I did not. I've got to go back because
This is a new watcher of ours, so
Really?
welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Um,
I know there's a reference
I didn't know
to
that either.
Elizabeth's aunt being saved by the ghost of Josette. She tells Vicky the story after she's been rescued from Matthew Morgan's clutches and tells Elizabeth that Josette was the one who saved her and told her that she would be all right. And there's something about she went out on the ice or whatever, like she could have drowned. The story is jumbled in my mind right now, but I do remember her saying that her aunt had some kind of a visitation from Josette, and Josette saved her life. But
interesting.
Sarah, that now I got to go back because I don't remember that. That's interesting because they all seem perplexed about Sarah. I mean, let's take it to we're introduced to Sarah in the cell, outside the cell. She says nothing to Maggie. She just starts singing London Bridge, which we are about to hear about 112 more times.
11 details.
Um,
Maddeningly.
and never never in and we're not going to discuss 1795 tonight. That's its own beast. We never hear it in 1795, nor do we ever see her play her flute, her recorder. All of that stuff goes out the wayside when they get to 1795. She doesn't even wear the dress and the bonnet in 1795. All of that stuff disappears. Now, one could say maybe the dress was her burial dress.
Yeah.
So maybe that's that, but never once does she sing London Bridge, and she never takes the damn flute out. It never happens. So I find that very interesting. But what's hysterical is by episode 2 or 3 of her just being outside of Maggie's cell, Maggie goes, "Little girl, please stop singing."
Uh-huh.
And the first time she walks away. She walks away the first time. And then the second time, I love this. And there's no corollary to Maggie. She looks at her and she's like, "If you see my big brother here, don't tell him you saw me. He doesn't like anybody to know about this place."
Wow. Right.
That's what I'm saying about that. There's an odd streak in her in the original series that does not exist in the revival. She's very friendly and loving with David, and their playmates and all of this. I mean, she's I know she, as my mother would say when I was little, "You're old enough to see what you're doing." She was old enough to realize that this girl is something is wrong. And if she knew to tell her, don't tell my brother, she could see this lady is suffering. Why doesn't she tell her that bizarre, and why doesn't she just tell her how to get out? Besides the bizarre riddle, it's
what
you had the.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you, guys? She's Mary Poppins, and what I mean by that is Mary Poppins never gives the answers. She only gives guideposts. She tells you which direction to go in, but she will not give you a direct answer. And I kind of equate Sarah in the same way. It's she just gives guideposts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Plus, she'd be in less episodes.
Give me a sign.
Right. Well, and the interesting thing about the riddle, Michael, is that she obviously caught Joshua. So Barnabas didn't know about that secret passageway. Otherwise, why would he put her in that room? And she obviously, so that secret passageway, we live 4 blocks away from the House of Seven Gables. That was created either for smuggling things, slave trade, or if you had a mistress, or if someone was accused of being a witch and you wanted to hide them. That's the explanation for a lot of these secret passageways in these homes. But apparently Sarah caught Joshua using the secret passageway, and then you were like, gee, what did she catch him doing? What was he getting rid of a mistress?
Right.
One could say she caught him with his pants down.
She caught him with his pants down. That's what I was getting at. Yeah. So she says, my father was very angry that I saw him here.
Well, in Night Whispers.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Go ahead, Michael. Go ahead. No, Michael, you go first.
You go first.
In Night Whispers, when Barnabas is having a conversation with Willie, he says that even there were rumors of slave trade. He was saying I know how important it is to. Or how important it can be to keep secrets from your family, or how sometimes you feel you must. He said, even my father, there were secrets of munitions smuggling, and slave trade. So, it ain't all to hide weapons during the revolution. So,
Right. Exactly. And that's one of my favorite sequences where. Well, I mean, then she gets introduced to David, and David doesn't quite know who she is. He's on the swing. I love that outside footage of him on the swing outside of Sprout House, which they replicated on the set. And it's the only time, the first time she meets David, I think maybe other than when Abigail goes after Daniel in 1795, they elongated the front of the old house. It's really long, like the porch leading to the front door. There's a nice wide shot of the
Yeah.
window, and
You see that with Burke and Victoria too. A couple of times you see the longer shot of the house.
see, I don't recall it then, but I
They
do
have a
recall it.
column, don't
Yeah,
they?
they have the columns. Yeah,
The column that Daniel hides behind. You actually see that with Abigail. I know he's hiding from Abigail. Yeah, that is great. She's fun. She's interesting with David, because doesn't she say something to him in one of those meetings where if I might not come back, or if you don't say that to me, or she gets irritated with him about something, I think.
yes, yes.
And it shows, once again, that Collins temper. you know.
And the way she's making her presence known, the costume party.
Oh yeah.
She wants
Very
Vicky
eerie.
to know about her. And it's different than I love in the 91 series, because now it's Elizabeth's costume party. And
Yeah.
she's in the archways and she's looking down and she's giggling and smiling, watching everybody, because it's, I guess, reminding her of what Collinwood was like,
Sure.
or what the old house was like. That's
Right.
really I love that shot in the 91 series, having her watching everybody, and nobody sees her, although she's definitely the one manipulating that Ouija board.
Oh sure. Oh yeah. She's much more direct
Yeah.
in the revival with everything than in the original series. There was something. With her and Sam, when she goes to meet Sam again. You're talking about signposts. She could not be more vague. I mean, she's helping Maggie. She is indeed helping Maggie, but she could not be more. There's no, hey, listen, I know where she is and she's in grave danger. Go and go here, and I've given her hopefully the tools to get out. It's just like, I know, blah blah blah.
I've given her the riddle.
Try to
And then I love that she shows up at Sam's house, and it's like, have you looked on the beach?
The one near Widow's Hill?
The one below Widow's Hill. Well, she might be there tonight.
Right. I mean, it's like, just tell him. Or even with Julia, who is another one who is clearly being tortured. And I guess we can assume that Sarah is seeing all of this as she appeared to Maggie, and now she's appearing to Julia, that she's being supernaturally tormented. But there's no, okay, I understand. I don't worry. I'm here to help you. It's just they have the conversation. The walls bleed, and she leaves. It's not like she tells Julia, "I'll be there to protect you."
Well, let me bring Vicky. I want to bring Vicky into this, because when they get into the color episodes, and again, this I get so upset with people making fun of Vicky. Vicky was always on to something, and she's the one that starts to she's like, wait a minute, she's talking to Joe. They're waiting for them to show up at the Blue Whale, and she's like, David's been seeing this girl named Sarah. This girl named Sarah showed up and apparently told Sam where to look for her. Vicky is not off the beam. She did it with Laura. She's one step ahead.
Yeah. Yep. Only the crowd doesn't seem to be the crowd is Vicky's crowd is the problem. They're not picking up on what she's putting out. You know what I mean? They're all, and like you said, it's sometimes surprising the bewilderment. There was an episode later on, and I'm going to talk about Sarah and Carolyn too, when somebody says something about seeing a ghost to somebody else. This is post Sarah, and this is somebody who's seen Sarah, and Sarah never comes up. I think it's when Quentin first arrives on the scene, and they're talking about ghosts as though this is something completely new to Collinwood. And I'm thinking, well, you passed through Josette, a phoenix, and the ghost of a child, and for some reason the Sarah and then this Quentin thing is throwing you guys off. What is happening here? Did you block it out through trauma or what?
Selective memory.
Her meeting. her meeting with Carolyn is very cryptic as well as creepy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have that, and Carolyn's asking her some really good questions. Like, that's what I like about that meeting. Carolyn is like, okay, so tell me about this and tell me about that, and that's an interesting turning point. That again sort of gets abandoned after she's bitten, and she goes through that really weird amnesia once Barnabas is cured and she's cured. Like, it just goes away. But it's interesting that it's not as though, and I don't mean I'm not dishing on Sarah because I love the character, but it's not as though the writers put her in there to save Carolyn when Barnabas bit her. Like, it's like she appears for Julia. She lets him bite her. It's interesting.
She gets.
I guess for the show, you kind of have to.
Yeah, and it's. I was thinking when watching these moments, I'm like, she's kind of selective. I mean, there was no, even though she gets angry about Dr. Woodard, he had to be sacrificed. There was no way. I mean, he had to be sacrificed. And for the record, Julia Hoffman did not kill Dr. Woodard. She may have created the serum, but Barnabas was the one who put it in his arm.
She's an accomplice.
Yes, I'm not saying she's not an accomplice, but I also see people attacking Julia.
She'd get 10 to 20.
Left, right, and sideways. I mean, just to digress off of Sarah for a moment, Julia is trying to be all things to all people. She does have a Hippocratic oath. She's trying to keep Maggie safe. She's always trying to pull the wool over Barnabas. Oh, I've got a letter. I wrote a letter, and a very dear friend has it. And if you kill me or Maggie, you're going to be exposed immediately. And she's always trying. It's like, I can't let go of this thing because I'm a doctor. And if I can cure him, oh my God, what is this going to mean to medical science? But she's still trying to keep everybody safe.
Yeah.
And I think people lose sight of that.
Julia, I would like to know from people who criticize her for that shit. I would love to know what they would do. And I mean, answer me honestly. If you had a vampire bearing down on you, so you have these people that you care about. What would you do if he got into your mind and planted a germ? What would you do? It's not so easy, I think.
We have a new watcher. Hello, Grumpy Old Bob 56.
Hello, Grumpy Old Bob.
The episode at the Swings, by the way, I'm Grumpy Old DJ. The episode at the Swings with Sarah and David was the first episode that I saw on June 10, 1967, episode 256, which also, by the way, just file this where you want to file it.
It's Judy Garland's birthday.
It was her 45th birthday.
It was her 45th birthday. So.
Oh, wow.
Good day.
Judy. Judy.
Judy.
Judy.
I'm just trying to see if we missed anybody else here before we go back to our...
A lot of people are talking about how the secret room in the mausoleum was used to hide Revolutionary War guns.
Now, you know what, guys? It's interesting that you bring... Again, here we go back to source material. When fake Dr. Woodard comes into it, and it's funny, Robert Geringer is just on the brink of getting this juicy storyline when he refuses to cross the picket line and gets fired. And then they bring in a real Von Helsing, Peter Turgeon. There's, I believe it's Daniel Keyes, the Eagle Hill caretaker, who says the mausoleum was erected the day that Barnabas left for England. So now that goes against that it was built for a Revolutionary War.
I like the Revolutionary War thing.
I do too.
It's very, and another thing is that secret room was also housed the family treasures. So there's supposed to be that's discussed pre-Barnabas and discussed quite often and then just dropped, which is Barnabas' source of income, by the way, everyone. But the
spoiler alert.
And again, it was, what was it? Fire. Was it Blood and Fire? You find out where that came from. Captain Harcourt was a pirate who was in love with and in a relationship with Abigail. And Caleb Collins, Joshua's and Abigail's father, forbade the relationship. And he died at sea thanks to some spell of Angelique's. He was killed at sea. But he had given Abigail, or he had given the Collinses, that source was apparently him. He was the pirate who they got the extended treasure from. I have a feeling Joshua had his had his fingers in a lot of pies.
So to speak.
Yes. Back to the tunnel thing.
what was going on in the? And by the way, let me say this about the
that is correct, Rumplio Bob. Daniel Keyes also did not cross the picket line,
and we lost gold when we lost Daniel Keyes as the caretaker because he was brilliant. He was brilliant. But the catacombs of the old house, just to go back to, I wish they had done that again somewhere down the line. They could have done it when Vicky was trying to escape from Reverend Trask. I mean,
sure.
Because the way they do it, I said this. It was Valentine's Day. I was watching the show on my lunch hour from school, eating my pink Valentine's Day Entenmann's holiday cake. And on the edge of my bed going, oh my God, is she going to get through? Is she going to get through? Is she going to get through? Is she going to make it to Widow's Hill? Is she going to? I love he keeps missing her and he forces the door open. It's the opposite door. I love all that stuff in the catacombs. It's so much fun.
That's why I think it's such a waste of, it absolutely has, it bears no foresight in the film to only have the Great House, which, by the way, wasn't that big, and to negate anything if you're listening, anybody who's interested in making these reboots or whatever, and you don't put those houses in, I swear to God, like you said about the tunnels, look at even American history. I know people like to canonize some of our forefathers, but they were really quite naughty.
Oh,
Ben
yes.
Franklin had all these catacombs under his home, I think, because he was part of the Hellfire Club. All of that time was fraught with all of that stuff. Like you said, in England, they were called priest holes because of the law against being Catholic in England. There were a lot of people they had to hide to do mass, and there's all kind of interesting material there.
Sure.
Ben Franklin, he would have loved Josette and Angelique. He had a penchant he was going to France a lot. He spent a lot of time in France doing.
That too.
He was doing the can-can.
Right.
Or right. I learned that recently. I didn't realize he had a penchant for French girls.
Yes, that series with Michael Douglas is a must-see if you have not seen it.
Yeah. So he would have, Josette and Angelique would have been right up his alley, so to speak.
Jessica says the catacomb sequence was fantastic. The way it was shot. Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss.
No
Chef's
notes.
kiss. Yes, that was a goodie. And again, Cy Thomasoff. You can't give enough credit to Cy Thomasoff for coming up with this stuff.
Just genius.
And
a sweet man. We got to meet him. He was a sweet, sweet man.
Yeah, Cy Thomasoff was a really nice guy. Very sweet.
The chick who pushed us out of the way to get to him wasn't, but that's a whole nother story.
That's another
for
story
time.
For the dark side of fandom. Yes, we'll cover that one night.
We need a whole episode for that.
We're going to need a few episodes.
The Dark Shadows Inquirer.
It'll straighten the shit out of you.
One of the things that I love is when the whole thing about Sarah's coming up, and Julia, I think early on, doesn't quite know. Come here, baby girl. Come here, Wheezy. She is a Dark Shadow.
I see her pussy.
We've been
pretty what it is.
Julia doesn't quite know. Julia doesn't quite know what to make of Sarah out the gate, and I love when she says to Barnabas, when he's felt her presence, and he's in his long smoking jacket, and
I love that.
Yeah. And he's all nervous, and she goes, "There's something else bothering you. Could it be a little girl? Could it be Sarah?" And he's like, well, but she didn't die from the same affliction that I did. She, and she goes, haven't you ever heard of a ghost, Barnabas? I find it very egotistical of you to think that only your kind can come back.
Yeah, that blew my mind. Your kind.
Only your kind can come back. And she says, you willed her. She says, you willed her. You brought her back.
See, I'd like to flesh that out a little bit because I guess this is a supernatural show. We're all kind of attuned to that kind of thing, and it goes back to some of my favorite moments, and indeed what really made Barnabas stand out to me as opposed to other vampires was he was so much plus. He was a vampire plus, like he dabbled in magic ahead of time. And,
right.
and he knew things, and he did have a tremendous, to say about his will, like him battling Gerard, it'll be my will against his. That's not just peanuts, because Barnabas, he had a strong will as a human being. Now, as a vampire, you've galvanized that will. So it's no small thing. And in sometimes when you get into the later seasons, and these other storylines, he becomes so human to you that it sort of downplays the stuff that he is doing around you. I mean, he conjured up, he was battling Laura with a spell. He summoned Ra. He summoned her spirit.
Right.
He forced Angelique out of hiding just by looking at her portrait. That will of his. So who's to say that perhaps in some subconscious way he did not will Sarah back, like
just wished
he did pull her in desperation because she is his heart, and I think they show that so much more by showing a relationship with he and her in the 1795 part in the revival, where she comes down the stairs before the duel and says, Barnabas, I don't want you to die, and he picks her up and says, nobody, I promise you. That's a very tender moment, and then her death is so much more tender than in the original. So he's very strongly connected to this little girl. So who's to say that he didn't realize, oh shit, I think I did. It was me. I'm so sorry.
You brought something up important earlier. It's funny because Jessica just said something and I want to kind of tie it in a little bit. Now he does conjure up the germ, as he puts it, to taunt Julia. Which is, it's not even really Woodard's ghost. It's just this thing that he's created through the black arts. But there's a couple of things that happen, and the one is the flowers. When she gives Vicky the apology with the flowers, and Vicky goes to get the vase, and Barnabas goes out, he just throws them on Elizabeth's desk. And then Vicky comes back into the room, and I love how sleight of hand this is, that some stagehand just kind of slunk in, took the good flowers out, and put this rotting, hair-dried flowers on the... But Barnabas it's not... When Barnabas does something, and it's his doing, the camera catches him looking slyly off to the side with a gleeful smirk on his face. When he sees those dead flowers, he's horrified. And I'm like, that wasn't Woodard, that wasn't Barnabas, that was Sarah letting everybody know I'm around. And I think in her own way saying to her brother, cut the crap.
Cut the crap, Barnabas.
Oh, wow. I never thought of.
Because look at his face. Watch his. He's horrified. He's absolutely horrified that the flowers have died.
Well, when he grabs the flowers out of her hand, that is one of the funniest moments to me in the show. When he grabs the flowers and her head goes, that's one of the best moments in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very comical. That's a great scene,
Yeah.
Sarah's very much like her big brother with that hard-headed. I mean, she's dramatic too. I mean, blowing those doors open like that in both the original and the revival. There were a few times when she blew doors open and winds were coming in and you're caught off guard. Is this Angelique or what? Who is the? She's pretty much like her. She's not scared of things. She doesn't seem afraid of him either. And she comes back to see him. He's pleading with her, and she says, "And I'm not going to come back until you." And then we never see her again.
And she only
What is that?
in '91 she only sang London Bridge once. It's when
Untimely.
David goes to see Daphne's ashes in the crypt, and she's like, Daphne is gone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Daphne is ashes, Daphne is dust. And then she starts singing and skipping up the staircase, and all of a sudden she's gone. It's the only time we hear her
Which
sing
is
London
very,
Bridge.
which if you think about it, is very macabre.
Yeah,
Like it's a little devilish of her. She's not like, give me a hug, I know you're scared, or I know you're hurting, or I know you're. She fools with me, and it reminds me of a few times when Willie is starting to lose it, even when they're friendly, when they're on friendly terms, and Barnabas just tells Willie, get it together, kind of, stop it.
yeah.
I sense no spirit here, or something going on. He just pulls him back out of it with a bit of sternness that is interesting.
Remember when Willie finds the ball, now we're back to black and white, he finds her ball down by the coffin. And that's unnerving Barnabas, plus the fact that when Vicky is in Josette's bed, Sarah starts singing London Bridge is falling down to warn Vicky that she might be in danger. And that's the first time, and they use it again in the 1991 series, that I think the reluctant vampire thing really came into full play because he's so close to biting her and backs off.
Yeah. She must come to me willingly. Well, the ball with Willie, all I can think about when I watch that, though, is, putting yourself in Willie's position. Oh, Christ, he's going to think I let somebody in here. Or he's going to think I, no pun intended, dropped the ball. He's going to think, I'm going to get blamed for this, but I can't lie. Is that where Barnabas says, my life depends on a latched door? Is that I love that scene.
He said
Or
that.
is
He
it
says
when,
to that. He
David
says to
gets it?
He says that to Julia.
I love that scene.
When nothing
my life
stands
depends
but
on a latch on a door.
total exposure,
I
but a
love that
locked
scene
door. Yeah,
because you don't realize. Yeah, he's helpless during the day. You don't. But again, we talk about the power of his will. Look at how he has Willie. There's no thought of getting away from him. You can't do it. One look at the eyes, and he's even looking at his portrait once.
Right.
I can't go away. Those eyes, I can't. He's much too powerful. I think sometimes it's one of those deals where he plants something in your head and leaves it there and doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Like Barnabas suggests that you'll never, and they just believe it. You know what I mean? You never know. He's just that smart. That's so well written.
very, very, very much so. What did Gary, Sharon herself, as far as Sharon Lentz goes, I met her several times over the years. I met her at two, not,
Gary says, isn't Sharon great? I met her a couple of times and I follow her on Facebook, and she's a very sweet and open woman. I feel like I know her and her family. You first met her as a teenager.
I did. I met her when I was 15. 15, yeah, I think 15 first, and there was an event that was not through the festival. Somebody else was producing it. And I went that year dressed up as 1795 Barnabas. And she was dressed up as Josette because she said she kind of had a crush on Catherine because they had so many scenes together. So she had dressed up as Josette, and I won. I think that year I won second place as Barnabas in the costume contest for that. And then a year and a half later, it was 97. My granddad died, so I know it was November of 97. They did it right after Halloween. It was at Lockwood Matthews, and I had come out the year before, and I was very much getting myself together, and I decided to go as Maggie Evans. I had the red bob. I had a teal dress right out of House of Dark Shadows, a mini dress. My mom found me spray to dye the shoes so they would match the dress. I had a teal blue headband in and I had a really good replica of the music box. And Sharon and Denise were at this event along with Diana Malay. Anyway, Sharon was in charge of that costume contest as well, and she had to leave early to catch a train back to Pennsylvania. So she was going through and she said, okay, third place goes to this one and second place goes to, first prize goes to Maggie Evans. She nailed it, hands down. She's great. And the facilitator said, that's fine, Sharon, but you should know that her name is Peter. And Sharon was, gosh, she said, I had no idea. Could have fooled me, telling me did a really great job. So yeah, yeah. I think she's a very cool lady.
Sarah, my little Sarah, you've come back. You've
You know,
come
there's
back
that.
at last.
I think it's the scene. I think it's the scene when Burke, when Barnabas goes. Maybe it's when he goes to apologize to Burke. Vicky is like, "You better apologize to Barnabas for this investigation." And Julia's alone in the old house reading one of the books, and all of a sudden she feels her there. You don't hear, you don't hear London Bridge. You don't hear the flute. But she goes into the woods. She lures Julia out of the house, and she comes back just as Barnabas is getting home, and she's like, she was here. She was here. Sarah was here. I felt her presence. She was trying to tell me something. And then the next day, she appears to Willie when he's fixing the chandelier. She appears outside the window, and Barnabas gets pissed. He gets totally pissed off at Willie. He's like, I'm telling you, she was outside the window. And he's like, if you're lying to me, Willie, because you overheard Julia say that she saw her, he says, why would I lie? Why would I? I'm telling you, she was outside the window.
Mm-hmm.
So the way she keeps popping up.
And avoiding him.
Oh, this is actually a good point that Renee brings up. Willie with the ball, that was when Willie asks Barnabas, "Are you going to kill me now?" He had accepted his life was of no importance. It's the same tone as anyone asking a casual question.
Yeah. And Willie even says with Vicky, because he tries to warn her, which they do a callback to in House of Dark Shadows with Maggie. Although there's no brutality in the television series in this scene, but I know what you're talking about. He says, you were trying to warn her about me, weren't you? And he says, yes, I was. Yes, I was, and you can kill me if you want to, but I'm not sorry. And there's a change in the relationship. Willie's being very like, if you want to,
Yeah.
If you want to get rid of me, go for it. But I'm not.
Do me a favor.
I don't apologize.
I built this whole house. Do me a favor.
It's interesting because in the revival, although he does get furious and he beats Willie with the cane very badly, they do a quicker turnaround. I suppose for the sake of time, but it's a much quicker friendship when Willie is worried about Victoria. He tells him, go to bed, Willie. I promise you that no harm will come to her, and all of that. And then he loses it at some point, and he's got Willie pinned up against the wall, and then he realizes, and he pats him on the face and says, "You're a good friend, and you're very loyal," and all of that kind of thing. It's much quicker than in the old series. It took a while for him to.
Tender.
He's always on eggshells, and he looked like it too.
Bob pointed out earlier that we didn't get. It's a shame we didn't get more character development with the Sarah of the 91 series, because she was so good. She was really, really good, and I wish we had gotten more. What she has is choice. I mean, all the scenes they gave her, especially her death scene, because no matter how sad, and this has nothing to do with Jonathan and Sharon, no matter how sad it is in the original series, I always bawl my eyes out when Sarah dies in the 91 revival series.
I usually skip it for that very reason. The music is so sad, and her seeing Angel, it's too much. Tell them about the extras.
Oh, and the extras.
The extra scene you saw with him sort of coaching her.
It's, guys, if you look hard enough online, someone actually sent us the link, and I have the tape. I haven't transferred it, but there was a Dark Shadows Resurrected MPI videotape. And this was a behind the scenes of the 91 show, so there were a lot of outtakes. And you actually see Ben Cross and Veronica Lauren rehearsing her death scene. And it's so sweet to watch him kind of, work as a peer working with her. And he goes, you're talking about the angels, Veronica, and they're, the angels are over there. The angels are, you see, the angels are all around. It's just really, really sweet to watch the two of them working together. But when she starts to expire and you see the tears and he's hugging her harder and says, no, I will not let you go. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Tears your heart out, throws it on the floor, does a tarantella on your heart.
She doesn't see him and he's going like this, trying to hold his tears, back. It's a tough scene. It's a tough watch.
If you've
the one with Jonathan and Sharon was good too, but
yes, no, but
totally
it's heartbreaking. And they play it beautifully. It's the writing is different. The writing is different. But when you mentioned about him not, I said this to John. We were talking about my mom, and after my mom's cancer diagnosis, anytime I saw her when she started, and she would go up and down in terms of how she looked, I would be on the verge of crying, and I would always excuse myself to another room because I didn't want to put that on her. I didn't want her to see me lose it. And that's what you're talking about with him and Sarah in the new show. It reminds me of that.
You get a pain in your throat from holding back.
Yeah, you get a pain in your throat. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
there are lovely moments when, not lovely, but when you think of Jonathan's, which you did not see in the revival though, you see Jonathan Fritter, or his Barnabas, desperate to save Sarah when Angelique had her very ill. And of course, then she got him to marry her. That was the deal that, I can fix her if you marry me or whatever. And it really brings to your mind, like, wow, Angelique was very cruel.
Vicious.
Even Ben said to her, that little girl didn't do anything to you. And he was like, I'm going to kill her with my own two hands if she doesn't let the girl go. Barnabas is struggling to try and keep her alive, and he's on eggshells with Angelique. So it came back in another way, but it doesn't have the power of that of that death scene.
And for
or
2
the big
seconds,
coming down the steps.
For 2 seconds, and I forgot. I remembered Jeremiah's ghost wrecking the Countess's room when they move into Collinwood, but I forgot the confrontation between Abigail and Angelique. And in 2 minutes, Abigail, it's like, finally, you're speaking sense. She pegs her. She pegs her as the witch. She totally pegs her and says, "What? You're blackmailing my nephew into marrying you. You obviously, how is it you were able to cure Sarah, where men of medicine couldn't do it? All of a sudden, Sarah gets ill and you're able to cure her? And now you want my nephew to marry you? And if I have my way, it won't happen?" I'm like, oh my God, I forgot, for 2 minutes, Abigail is she's on it. She's got it. She's totally got it.
Shall I tell you something you don't know?
Please.
I just watched that today. And I thought to myself, boy, Abigail had some nows. It was like Abigail was she hit every point. Boom, 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 boom. And I thought, oh, she's in danger. But I thought the same thing. Boy, Abigail's not and in the revival, he goes out of his way to say, Miss Winters, my aunt may appear eccentric, but I assure you she's dangerous.
Yeah.
Be careful of her.
Yeah.
So she was no fool. She was it's hard. She nailed it. I couldn't believe it. I thought the same thing just today.
2 days ago, Michael. I watched it 2 days ago. That's so funny. Yeah.
Second time, 2 weeks.
So funny. In terms of Sarah, and then every time he's about to hurt somebody, it's at one of the Kinescope episodes, which makes it even more. Julia hears the dogs howling, and I think I think this time is he going after, it might be David. I think he's going to go after David this time. And she said it's the only time Julia puts a kerchief on. It's raining. It's raining out. She puts a kerchief on, and she flees the house. And she's all breathless. She goes, I know. I heard the dogs howling. I know what you're going to do. And and he's like, when I make up my mind to kill someone, no one can stop me. No power on earth can stop me. And all of a sudden, boom, the doors open. The chandelier starts shaking, and his demeanor, she's here. And we are the sad version of London Bridge. And he's calling out to her, and she goes, no power on earth can stop you except one little girl.
She knew how to needle him, Well, not even you. Or everyone but you.
Anyone but you. Now with Woodard,
how quickly he was triggered.
Totally. With Woodard, she really, she leads to lead David into that secret room is one thing. But to lead Dr. Woodard into the room, and that's when the pieces really start to come together.
That's an interesting scene too, with fake Dr. Woodard and Sarah inside the mausoleum, but outside of the secret room when they're having that conversation. I think about how the other guy would have played it. How interesting that would have been, because he seemed more comfortable and all of that kind of thing.
And she says to him, well, it didn't open for you the other day because I didn't want it to open for you.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. She's got some power too.
Plus, he's going through the books. Go ahead.
You do get a sense that this Sarah, I don't know that she wants to hurt Barnabas, but she kind of wants justice, almost like a child who gets angry at an adult and wants to dig at you, whereas in the other, she really wants to help her brother and the rest of the family, and that's her goal. Barnabas, you cannot do this. You have to understand that some people want to help you. That conversation is not had. She just gets on him for doing wicked things, which I'm sad. I sort of wish they would have had that scene incorporated into one of the series where he taught her that rhyme about doing the right thing and being good and all of that.
Evil is wicked, is well understood. The wicked are punished, so you must be good.
I wish they'd shown that. I wish they would have had something where he was sitting with her and teaching her or whatever. But she just castigizes him and she gets on him for it, but she doesn't ever try to tell him, hey, she's here for you. People are here for you, like in the revival.
Well, with Woodard,
some people want to help you.
Some people want to help you. With Woodard, he's going through the family files. Julia is not happy about this. And, it's saying that Barnabas and Sarah were both afflicted by a raging fever. Sarah died, but Barnabas didn't. Although people noticed very noticeable changes in Barnabas's demeanor after he got the fever. So again, the writers were still fielding their way around how they were going to handle this.
Sure.
Was she bitten and she didn't die? Were they going to go down that road?
Right.
And then again, there's the whole talk about how Joshua ordered the mausoleum built the day that Barnabas left for England.
Too, Naomi, when Sarah is very ill and Angelique makes the tea, Naomi tells Vicky, or somebody, I nursed Barnabas and Joshua. Or was it Jeremiah? Barnabas and Joshua when they had their fever. This is pneumonia. She has pneumonia. This isn't like when they had their terrible fever. I nursed them through this. This is pneumonia, and he just won't tell me.
Yeah.
So apparently Barnabas, other than the bat bite, had become very ill at one point, as with Joshua. So they just talked about that today as well. Or I just saw that talked about today as well.
And we go back around to, in a sense, Barnabas first speaking of Sarah. It's when Jason is killed. Why? Because I never had a friend who died.
Yeah.
She lived long. She lived long before I knew Josette. And the idea being that Sarah died before Josette even came to Collinwood.
Oh, I know what the scene you're talking about. The conversation. I didn't put that together.
Yeah.
Huh. I like that too. He called her what is it? The something, the epitome of innocence, or something, or
She was the
good.
sum. She was the sum of all that was good and pure. Something like that.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Hmm. So
Everything.
he really
Everything
did
that
put a
made
lot of
life
stuff.
worth living.
Yeah. Oh, almost like a child more than a sibling.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he loves her. He truly does. He truly does love her.
Oh, yeah. You. It's sad because he cries in the old series. He's crying when she leaves. He's got his hands up to his eyes, and Julia goes over and puts her hand on his shoulder, and he says, "If you don't touch me," and he tells her, "If you mention her name one more time, I'll forget the conversation we had tonight." So it's a very poignant, cathartic moment in the show in
We
his
talk
life.
about her being lost, a lost soul, and I think there's something to that because when you think about the fact that she tells David the biggest secret she knows, which is the secret room in the family tomb, she gets him in there and then she leaves him in there for 48 hours. And I feel it's like she would maybe get trapped between the two worlds, and so she couldn't always come. She would get
Right.
caught in some kind of vortex, and so she couldn't always be there when somebody needed her. She had to
It
break,
could be.
somehow she had to break the barrier.
Right. The veil.
She had to
Hmm.
break the veil. And because when he's trapped in that coffin, and oh my, when Barnabas comes in and puts his hand on the lid.
Oh, yeah. That's a horrifying couple moments.
Yeah.
When he's trapped, a little boy. Imagine being that little boy. You don't know what's going on in the world around you, and now you're stuck in some tomb. You know. Mm-mm.
And you don't know how to get
It's
out.
always interesting because how horrible he is, and he says it in one episode. He says to Willie, "I haven't always been, or Julia, I haven't always been kind to my cousins. In fact, I've been downright mean or whatever, and all of this." But if you weigh that against the fact that now he's traveling back and forth through time and putting himself in all kind of peril to save all of them all the time, you kind of realize he grew quite a bit. He grew attached and
Someone asked the question 2 or 3 days ago, and they said, "Well, when did Barnabas stop being a villain?" And my response was, I don't necessarily know villain. I think he did villainous things, and I stand by this. If I got a newbie, or even an oldie, but particularly a newbie, here's what I'd say. I want you to start with episode 365 and watch them go back in time. I want you to watch the origins of Barnabas Collins. Give them some backstory. I said, you don't have to worry about Vicky too much, but focus on Barnabas, Angelique, and Josette and Sarah. Focus on that. And the moment Ben Stokes chains his coffin, shut the show off, turn on episode 210, and then watch it from that perspective. You'll have a better perspective as to why he
yeah.
is the way he is.
And as far as the continuity, they held on to that brilliantly because when Julia let him out in 1841, he was back to that. My secrets, and all of that kind of thing. He was very much the way he was when Willie first let him out. But the family, he was able to let his guard down and love again. And you have to remember too. I've thought about this recently. I'm sure some of that was his fear of allowing himself to love other people because the curse was whoever loves you is going to die.
Yeah.
Whoever loves you. So he was probably afraid to love. He didn't want to cause, I'm a danger to you just being, some of that probably was him trying to hold back to protect them.
Laura said that. Laura says, like, oh my God, you have this thing on your head saying if I do love anybody, they're going to be in mortal danger. So
God knows Angelique. She was always there to swoop in.
She brought that up as well. That scene with when she confronts Julia in the mausoleum. And if I'm not mistaken, it cracks me up. Julia lights a cigarette. I'm pretty sure she lights a cigarette in the mausoleum.
I needed it.
Yeah, she needed one. But when she's saying, "Will you protect me? Will you please protect me?" and Sarah's chastising her, it's a little bit like that moment in the new series where she's telling Barnabas, "These people just want to help you," and Angelique swoops in, and no sooner does she swoop in, we see Sarah evaporate. In the mausoleum scene with Julia, Sarah disappears and the germ enters, and that's the blood oozing out of the wall. The cackling, and that it's Barnabas's will imposing itself and tracking Julia down.
On Julia.
Yeah.
And that's really great too when Angelique in the revival swoops in, and you get the sense that Sarah is a ghost, and where she can do certain things. Angelique is a ghost and a witch, so she can bump her out of the way, and like you said about being caught in dimensions and all of this kind of thing. You wonder, if you were writing the show, what directions you could even take that in. What did Barnabas see in the coffin for 200, for the amount of time that he was in there, and chalk that up for him being super pissed when he got out, and just feasting over and over again on this desolation that he went to sleep on. He went to sleep on utter desolation. And then what is Angelique seeing? And we get a sense of that by Angelique popping in and out in other centuries, checking on Barnabas. So it's so much good stuff.
And begging, again, he begged at least 3 times to be put out of his misery. And that last time, thinking, I'm going to go to bed and I'm not going to wake up. And so this is where I go, you got to cut this guy some slack. And then he says it in 67. I mean, here they were foreshadowing, Willie with Maggie, and you're going to kill her. If you have any mercy, mercy. There was a time I asked for mercy. I begged for it. And there were those who so easily could have given it, but they chose not to, and now I choose not to.
I just watched that today, too.
Which is kind of a rough way to look at that whole thing.
John, imagine yourself being locked in a coffin for almost 190 years.
No. You're right. I understand.
And he was hangry.
Yeah.
And he was hangry.
And he was hangry. And he was hangry, yes. Hey, it's amazing.
It's interesting. You feel like Sarah, at least this is what I tell myself, that she disappears and never comes back because she fulfilled her mission and crossed over.
Oh, yeah, that's what I believe,
she was finally
too.
able to cross over.
Yeah.
I tell myself that because I don't want to think she's still wondering
it's
where
like the end.
is.
It's like the end of Hocus Pocus when Binks, and it's another one I can't, especially now for a variety of reasons. If I watch the end of Hocus Pocus, I am a bawling mess. But when you realize that his spirit's been set, the first one, yeah, when his spirit's been set free, and he gets reunited with his sister, it's, oh my God, that's another one that tears me apart.
Not
the
the
second
least
one
of
gets
which-
me too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful. I love the second movie. I loved the second movie. I thought they did a wonderful job.
Yeah, when she gets upset. Well, wait a minute. Where are my sisters? It's terrible. So sad.
Sweet.
And they're working on a part 3.
Yeah, they are writing number 3. Beth said, "Come on, do this. I'm not getting any younger. Let's get the third one in the can."
Good for them.
Yeah, so they are working on that. There was something I was going to say about Sarah being caught
in dimensions and passing over, crossing over, finally after completing her mission.
Sharon was asked, why didn't you stay with the show? And she said, well, ghosts aren't allowed to get old, and I was rapidly growing. What I will say, and this is in no way to denigrate Sharon, is I wish Sarah had stayed on, but they would have had to have found other child actors to play the part. But I do wish Sarah had been someone who popped in and out, even if it was to counsel her brother, and to or David. I think it would have been interesting if Sarah had been kept as a recurring character throughout the series.
And Sharon could have come back as somebody else,
Yeah.
perhaps. Maybe as one of the children in parallel time.
You know, I was surprised that she didn't come back as Amy, but I don't know if by that point, Sharon did say in an interview that she was getting a little bored with it, and her mom basically said, "Look, we're schlepping in from Philadelphia,
If you don't want to do it.
so if you don't want to do it, we don't have to do it anymore." She did want, I think she wanted a break, if memory serves. She did want a break from acting for a couple of years.
Did she go back and do anything else?
She started up again at
I
one
have to
point.
wonder why she wasn't Amy as well.
Yeah,
Good actress.
you know, but then Denise is. Someone shared the Cleveland,
yeah.
Cleveland, what's his name? Armory. He wrote for TV Guide, and I remember this is in the Dark Shadows Companion. Wait a minute, where he ripped the show to shreds. He did this with almost every show.
What was his name?
Cleveland Amory. A few weeks ago, when we were down with the flu, we watched this show for a whole week, and you know what? Sick as we were, and we were very sick, boy, we were compared with Dark Shadows in the pink. But the remarkable thing happened. At the end of the week, by which time we had decided that this series was, in our considered judgment, the worst in the history of entertainment, we found that when Saturday came and there was no show, we missed it. And thus we arrived at a true understanding of the secret of Dark Shadow's success. The worse it is, the more you'll love it. And take our word for it, this is the show for that.
He sounds like a doll baby.
He didn't get enough hugs as a child.
Mr. Jonathan
Right.
Frid, who plays Barnabas, is at his best, i.e. worst, when he's discovering something for the fourth time that somebody else has already discovered for the third. You mean, he will say, the second time you went back to the grave, it was freshly filled in? Go through the rest of the cast. Every last one of them speaks his or her lines as if on the witness stand and paid by the word by the prosecution. They can't all be bad, you say. Of course not. Some are worse than others. The worst, though, are the children, Denise Nickerson and David Hennessy. We swear to you that if we see those two talking to that ghost Quentin through the disconnected telephone one more time, we will call them on a connected telephone and read them this review collect.
Wow.
For Dan Curtis is a man who has publicly declared that he actually dreamed the whole story of Dark Shadows during, he says, a big sleep in upstate New York. In that case, all you can think, hope, or even pray is that Mr. Curtis never ever gets that tired again.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
And of course, 60 years later, we're right, Bob. What an insane review. 60 years, where's Cleveland Amory? And Dark Shadows is still here celebrating its big 6-0. As Miss Lorna Luft once said, critics are the scum of the theater. They are like eunuchs at an orgy. They get their tickets for free, and most of them are drunks.
Eunuchs at an orgy. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
You know, those who, what a friend of mine said to me once, those who can't
can.
criticize.
Those who can't. Those who can do. Those who can't
Mhm.
critique.
Uh-huh. Where were we? I'm trying to think. Where were we with Sarah in the storyline?
Crossing over.
Crossing over, yeah. I mean, and then in 1795, which I don't want to get, because we're going to cover
Yeah, don't get
1795.
into that.
But she's there, and obviously Angelique uses her as a threat. I mean, Sarah and Josette are like the two main threats that she uses against him. The two people that he loves the most, depending upon who you talk to. Because there are some fans that are convinced, they are convinced that he was truly in love with Angelique.
She's crazy. The one fan. Craziness.
They are convinced that that was his true love. And Laura had the same response that Barbara Eden had. It was, they wrote it that way. It happened because they wrote it that way. They had to close up the main timeline because they knew we were going into this parallel world with new characters, and we were never going to see those people again. So that's why they did what they did.
And P.S. Denise Nickerson was the best actress on the show.
You know,
Oh,
Best child actress on the
no,
show.
no dissing Sharon. Sharon was adorable and wonderful, but Denise was I mean, good stuff.
all around that, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody said to Jonathan one time, how did you and Mark Goddard get on in real life? He said, you mean on the screen? And they said, no. He said, well, what you do on the screen has nothing to do with what's on the page. When it's on the page, you do what's on the page, but it has nothing to do with what goes on, off the page.
Yeah.
If you do it, if it's on there, you have to do it, which is really what the show's about, a scripted play,
And I know that Sharon loved Jonathan. She said he was so sweet to her. They would run lines together. She learned her lines by what she said. I would Paul parrot because I couldn't really do. So she said my mom would read them to me, and I would repeat them back, and that's how she learned her lines. But she adored Jonathan. She thought Joan Bennett was gorgeous. Again, I think the one she really fell in love with was Catherine, because she just thought Catherine looked so pretty with the big curls, and they had so many scenes together.
Yeah. Now,
I
Sarah,
love that.
You're a very naughty little girl. I like that part.
In her little pink pajamas with her little pink bonnet.
Uh-huh. I love that part. It's like 2 PM, the sun's brightly shining.
Au revoir, Miss Winters. That's French. I'm learning it for the wedding. I'm going to be a flower girl.
She drew her, didn't she? Didn't she draw a picture of Victoria?
She draws a picture.
I think ahead of time, Sarah was perhaps a little magical herself,
Yeah. For
And do you ever
foreshadowing.
notice? And I don't want to get into this because we are going to do it, but the sun was actually shining in 1795 in Collinwood. It wasn't all raining and stormy.
There was more sunshine.
Days.
Yeah, there was more sunshine. There was. There was something about Woodard. It just went over my head.
How many times did he see Sarah? Once?
Just in the mausoleum. Just in the mausoleum. Yeah.
Okay. And Julia probably, other than David, had the most. Didn't she? She saw her. Well, she saw her with Barnabas. She saw her in the mausoleum. She felt her. What the hell? So yeah, she probably, other than David. Hello, David.
Oh, but that's a great scene. That's a great
I've been looking
scene.
everywhere for you.
Well, no,
The show had a pretty interesting color.
when they're introducing her,
Mhm.
and it's just before they go to see the house, just before the show goes color. And I think that's the one where he says, "Come on in, you'll have dinner with us," and he goes to get Julia and Vicky goes to get her sweater, and she finds the bonnet on the floor. So again, I love the fact that Sarah she's like, they're going to think he's crazy. I got to do something to make them realize that I was really here.
Yeah. And she leaves the recorder for Dr.
Yes.
Woodard, right?
Yes.
She leaves the flute and then the doll. Well, Maggie is passing the doll, which pisses her off. She gives Maggie the doll and she's passing it around to everybody. She's really pissed off
Her
about
favorite
that.
doll. Yeah. Lucky she's helping her at all. She helps her to escape the old house and Wincliffe.
Yes. Yes. And that woman did everything.
Past the Ghostbusters.
Anne, oh my God, it's on the tip of my tongue. Anne.
Not Ramsey.
No, not Anne
My
Ramsey.
uncle thought it
No.
was St. Jerome.
She's also in Tu Wong Fu. She becomes friends with Wesley Snipes.
Oh, I love
This
that
beautiful
actress.
can be real.
Anne, is it not Anne Pierce?
She did everything.
Yeah, look her up. Anne, it's Anne. She did everything.
And Ghostbusters. Michael thought he was saying Drown.
Because we did a one act
And
at
Alice Drummond.
Alice Drummond. Alice Drummond is Nurse Jackson. Yes.
She appeared in Ghostbusters, Dark Shadows, To Wong Fu, Thank You for Everything, Julie Newmar, Ace Ventura. She had 43 film appearances and numerous television appearances.
Yeah.
She did everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she did a couple of
actress.
episodes of Fame, too. I think she did a couple of episodes of Fame. She's great. And again, you know, here she appears, you know, she appears in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there's another riddle there. And she's in Awakenings.
Uh-huh.
She's one of the patients in Awakenings. She has, Robin Williams throws the ball to her and she catches it.
I can't watch that movie either. Not even a little bit now.
Oh, we love that movie.
I break up too easily.
Good movie.
Not even for 5 minutes. Oh, the pain.
So the doctor that's based on, Dr. Oliver Sacks, was my next door neighbor growing up.
In City Island.
Yeah, the guy that Robin Williams plays was my next door neighbor.
Oh, wow. Oh,
yep.
Wow.
Yeah, there is...
Those beautiful things he managed to do for a time. Mm-mm-mm.
Indeed. She answers everything with a question. Oh, and this is something that a lot of this is they've been asked at festivals. And then the question is, Catherine, I'd like to know if Wincliffe is 100 miles outside of Collinsport, how did you and Sarah manage to walk it in about 10 minutes? So there's a few things there.
What's her answer?
she always laughs, you know. And I remember Donna Wandry was sitting next to her once and said, she didn't know that until you just told her that, by the way. You know, she's, you know, Marie jumps in and she's like, we needed this guy as a continuity man on the show. But Sarah's a ghost. So it's very possible, almost like in A Christmas Carol, that she's speeding time up without Maggie realizing it. She's getting them closer, faster to where, because she knows she needs to get her to the blue whale. She knows she has to get her to safety.
By necessity.
There was a scene, and it's in the book, The Introduction to Barnabas. They were supposed to meet a truck driver and get into this Mack truck. And I think what was going to happen was that Sarah was going to disappear, and freak out the truck driver. The scene was written. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've got it. And they had to cut it for time. They were like, we got to you got to have the truck, you know, just the front of it. And it was they cut it. But it was supposed to be this thing where all of a sudden, like, the guy realizes that Sarah was a ghost.
They won't remember it's 100 miles outside of town. More mist.
You know, yeah. Well, even Eagle Hill Cemetery was supposed to be 15 minutes away. Wait, Michael, you got a question, Michael?
Hold
about
on.
Lost in Space.
This is from Renee. Can you see it? Yes. Michael, off topic, but I cannot accept Dr. Smith as a female in the Lost in Space reboot. The pain.
Well, they didn't ask me. That's my contention. They didn't ask me to do it. But I often say on here that if Grayson would have been alive and young, and they were going to do a gender flip, Grayson should have played Smith. They have a very same sort of dramatic, kind of
should be
broad,
great.
big, and they looked a little alike. I think they have similar features: sharp nose, fly away eyebrows, and all of that. Yeah, it's I just pissed they didn't ask me, but.
So is that a go, the reboot?
And Parker Posey's brilliant.
I do love our Parker Posey.
Oh, Parker Posey is wonderful.
Mm-hmm. She's brilliant. She's a brilliant lady. Pretty too.
And we didn't get.
I would have liked to have seen Jonathan in Dark Shadows.
Oh, yeah, sure. Another one who would have been great.
He played a devil in a TV in a early 1950s little tiny half-hour piece. He played a demon, and he looked like Nicholas Blair a little bit. He had the goatee, but he had a short little tiny mustache and
I don't think
black hair and all that. He would have been a good.
I just saw that Vincent Price played the devil in Damn Yankees
Yes.
at North Shore Music.
And Nordstrom, yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen him play Judah Zachary, and I would have loved for them to extended it a little bit if he had played it. Of course, they would have had to if it was him, but I think that and they could have just used the portrait from the Haunted Palace, and they would have saved some money. They would have had a brilliant, because I believe he's with Joan Bennett, so I'm sure she could have gotten him to do it. And I heard him a fan of the show.
Yes.
I feel like I heard that he was a fan of Dark Shadows.
Yes.
So
on all counts.
Hello, Edie Lewis just popped in to say hello. Hello.
Hello. Good to see you.
Hello, Edie.
I had a major brain fart. Sorry. I apologize.
Okay. This has been a fun episode, though.
Yeah, Sarah, we didn't get her in the 2004 pilot. Although I don't know, I'm assuming they were going to bring her in. They try to cram a lot into that pilot. And not Dan Curtis's fault. That was the WB.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been a 2-hour movie, not a 1 hour. It was way too much. I think it's Penny.
I really hope it gets off the ground.
I think it's Penny who pointed out that House of Dark Shadows is, and I always refer to it as another parallel world. That's Dark Shadows if Sarah had never shown up.
Sure.
Because Sarah is Barnabas's conscience, and so House of Dark Shadows is, in a sense, because she's not in the movie.
Good point.
It's with Sarah not being there to kind of
Balance.
Navigate things. That's her take on it.
Yeah, I agree with you. And look, I have to tell you, and I like the movie, but after a time, it loses my interest because it does. I agree with Jonathan Fridd. It goes off the edge. Like, it's okay. We get it. He's a vampire. He's just bitten the entire family. It's like Salem's Lot.
Right.
You're
right.
In about 10 minutes, you're going to have a town full of vampires, and they're going to have to burn it to the ground. I mean, how easily did he... I still can't get over how easily he took on Professor Stokes, which I don't think would have been the case on the show. He was far too bright, a strong mind. I think he should have... But that's the other universe. So
what's that actor's name?
I'm like you. I got to divorce that.
Stefan.
Different. Oh, Stefan Garish.
Yeah.
From the 91 series. Yeah.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Did he do anything else?
I love his
Stefan
demise.
did a million things. His demise. Oh yeah, his demise.
When he says, well, when Barnabas grabs him and says, "Your interference has brought you into my bleak universe," I love that part, and that's where they freeze frame. It's great.
And the fact that he chooses to become a vampire.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
interesting. That's very interesting.
He said, "I would have." He said, "I would have killed him."
At his size, he loves steak.
Oh, I would have killed him, Doctor. Yeah. Yep, it's more of a choice than some have been given. That's a great scene, and she stabs him with the needle really hard. He goes,
She gives him the extra jab. Yeah, she gives him the extra jab. Yeah.
He says, "I'm not entirely insensitive to your position," or something like that. Like, it's great.
And again, the use of Sarah too, the diary, how she does. She doesn't appear. She does not appear to Vicky in 1967, but in 1991, she does appear to her, leads her to the closed-off wing, and gives her the diary, which then she passes off to Barnabas. And it's fun to see her writing, how the book opens up, and she actually says to Barnabas, "You must leave the young girl alone."
Oh, yeah. I guess because she knows it's pissing Angelique off.
Yeah.
I guess she gets a sense that Angelique is getting pissed off, and let's don't
That's
push.
it. That's it. You brought it back. That's it. The seance. Sarah prophesies and says, somebody has to go back. And she says to David, they're angry. They're angry. Now, who are they? It can go cover a lot of territory. I think Joshua's ghost is angry that Barnabas has been let out. So he's pissed off. And Angelique is pissed off that Barnabas is free and possibly on the brink of being cured. So when
That's what I think.
She says it to David, the dead are angry.
Yeah. I think too some of the victims.
And some of the victims, yeah.
Incluso Reverend Trask.
Yeah.
Because he does, in the old series, he comes back to Barnabas to
the trial.
And I love that. He and Angelique, he goes after both of them. He doesn't just go after Barnabas and then that's it. He's like, you're the reason this whole thing happened. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that was it earlier. That was it. I'm like, it's played out a little differently in 91, but she's saying to David, the dead are angry. They're really, and they want to destroy someone in this house.
They don't discuss that at all in the old series, do they? In the seance, it's just you get Carolyn pretending that she's possessed, and then Vicky actually getting possessed. But they don't say about the dead being angry and all of that.
She tells David, and David imparts it to Elizabeth and Vicky and Julia.
Oh, she does say the dead are angry too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
The dead are angry. Yes.
All right.
So it's and again, it's got to be totally. It's got to be Joshua and Angelique. I think it's a continue. But we know Angelique wants to kill Daniel because if he dies, that's it.
Mm. Yeah.
The whole family is gone.
Collins family.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because in 1967 or when they go back to 1897, she tells him, I care about David. I care about David just as much as you do. And I'm thinking to myself, that's kind of, I didn't get that when you were, when you were Cassandra. I just remember her telling him, I have a terrible headache. Whatever. But also that brings me to, this is off topic too, but David, I started laughing because you don't see this side of Barnabas very often, where he's a person and an adult. When he's trying to sort out what's going on with the pentagram, and David is playing that dart game in the manor in Collinwood, and he's throwing the darts, and he says, David, do you have to play that in here? And he says to him, I'm getting on your nerves, aren't I? He goes, right, go. That's really cute. It's very funny. You don't see that side of him. Right, yes. Now you should be able to tell me that, David. It's good. It's a great scene.
It's once during the Leviathan storyline where I think, like, this one's done this one to that one's done this one to that, blah, blah, and someone comes in and goes, Barnabas, and he's like, oh, now what? He has such a human, like, oh, really? Oh, for Christ's sake, now what?
It's usually Julia, but he did. He gets the break every now and again.
Yeah.
She just does that kind of thing.
It's somewhere during the Leviathan storyline, and it's funny.
If they were to do a reboot, I would love to see them do more with David having some sort of residual something. Although Laura's not, I think his mother was possessed, right? So we don't think that Laura Stockbridge was.
She was from that bloodline.
I would like to have seen some connection.
But right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the woman
I would like to see then David have some sort of, supernatural ability because of that, and I would like to see Sarah explored a little bit more, and even sometimes I want to ask the question: is Quentin supposed to be a warlock? Because he knows a great deal about he does his own spells, and he was into it before. He was the reason they have the I Ching,
Well, and I think
he says to Laura, I have powers, I have money, I have powers, I can help you.
Yeah.
What sort of powers? Like financial influence, or are we talking powers?
Well, we know. I mean, we know what he's doing with Evan Hanley, so we know that he does. Like Barnabas, he's into the black arts.
That friggin' family, I tell you.
And I would also, again, at the risk of anybody getting their panties in a bunch, I believe Quentin dips his toe in both sides of the pond. I think
Dips his wick.
Yes, he dips his wick.
He's a bicycle?
He's a bicycle. Yes, there's something about Quentin that you go. It's kind of like when in Rome. Why not?
Did I tell
I
you
know
how I
you've
got
heard me
that,
say-
Tay Ching?
Right. I know you've heard me say that he reminds me a great deal of the Brad Pitt character in Legends of the Fall.
Yes.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And one of the big scenes in that is Brad Pitt on a ship leaving from the Orient, which we know that Quentin I think he talks about being in the Orient.
Yes.
And he's in a bed full of people, and it's very much like that. Like, this guy just doesn't give a shit. He's out there having he's very much a hedonist. Quentin is very much a hedonist, and he's a practitioner of the black arts, so he's not going to have the same hang-ups as Judith or Abigail. Abigail.
Oh, well, that's a great
Why is the devil always trying to touch you, Abigail?
I'm sure you're as wrong about him as you are Miss Winters. When they come back,
I would like to see her more explored.
Yeah. When they
Abigail,
when they come back from burying Angelique's body in the new show, and he and Andre look at each other and he goes, I don't know about you, but I could use a stiff drink. And he looks at Abigail and says, and I don't think one would hurt you either.
Juliana McCarthy, man, she was great. The witch, she's the one.
I love her.
She's just great.
She's still with us?
Guys, remember, I want to point this out because you brought it up. Juliana McCarthy is very sick, and I think she's had a couple of strokes.
There's an active GoFundMe.
There's an active GoFundMe from her family. Look for it. I know Penny has shared it. It's online.
I'll put it in the comments.
She was a sweetheart at the festivals, and she was a Dark Shadows fan going into getting the job. Lovely, lovely lady, and she's gone through a series of things. I know there's a million GoFundMe these days. We've been down that road ourselves, but if you can, just take a look at it. Every little bit helps, because I know she's having a really tough time of it, and she was good. She's good people. Good people.
I want to say something. If you're watching, she was Miss Foster on Young and the Restless.
Oh, she was.
Like
You're right.
That's funny. That's right.
Geraldine.
My
if you're
mother-
watching.
That's right. And Jessica, yes.
Miss Foster.
Yes, he was doing black magic in Egypt with Laura. Yeah, he saw Laura die.
Yeah.
He saw Laura die on the pyre. The
He
sacrificial
was a
pyre.
spy.
He was a spy.
Yeah. I summon an eternal shade who worships thee. Oh, Laura. And her. Well, I would like to see more from Laura, and I don't want them to combine. I want Angelique to be Angelique and Laura to be Laura. Because I like the fight between them.
Yeah.
Oh, my mother just texted me, yes, I am.
Oh, good.
She's watching.
Good.
Yay!
Good. Good.
Good. Miss Foster.
Somebody wants us to do an episode on Sarah again. We will in 1795. We'll cover Sarah again.
Well, we're going to cover. We're going to do a deep dive, and it's going to probably take 3 nights, but we're going to cover all of 1795 because you can't.
Grace, if not more.
Who wrote?
If not more.
Yeah, who wrote on our wall? It was very sweet, and they said about us, not to pat ourselves on the back, with the kidnapping of Maggie, and they said they liked that we take our time in discussing the storylines, whereas some of the other shows kind of rush through. That's not to put anyone down, but they like the fact that the Dark ShadBros really focus.
And for the record, this is episode 31. All 31 episodes are on YouTube. You can watch them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Facebook recently now deletes live videos after 30 days. So you can no longer watch them after 30 days on Facebook. But They live in an archive on YouTube under Mac and Chat. Most of you are watching there, so I will make sure to share that link. And then I'll post links on Dark ShadBros on Facebook as well as Mac and Chat on Facebook.
And if you've never seen them, guys,
You know,
go ahead, Michael. Bless you.
It's
oh,
true.
no, well, it goes back to kind of what we were saying about taking our time with the episode. I want to kind of take it back to what that guy said about it. The writer said about it being nostalgic and why I think it's not. The reason we take our time with these episodes, I think one of them is the show had a lot of importance to a lot of people that, indeed, that Star Trek touched on as well. But I think the difference was when people watch Dark Shadows, you could relate to these characters on a much higher pitch than you could other television shows and other. I mean, Spock you could relate to if you were torn between two worlds or, you know, two sides of the family or whatever. But these Barnabas, how many of us as teenagers, you know, had secrets or that you would protect with all your heart, even if it was just you were shy or felt funny about, or acne or whatever, and you know, or Angelique, you understood what it was like to be angry at somebody and want to hurt them, and here's somebody who could do something about that. So
That's right.
the show was important to so many people, you know, through their life, that it kind of bears this kind of time taking, because maybe there are people that aren't watching and they hear something and they want to watch, and it'll help them through something very difficult like a divorce. You know, for me, it helped me a lot get through my parents splitting up.
Sure.
A lot.
Sure.
Maybe there's a kid out there who happened to be skipping and sees us and is like, well, hell, let me try that out. So if you haven't seen it, watch it, because it's very profound. It's a good show, not just a run-of-the-mill soap opera.
And I believe it's all on Amazon Prime. I have to re-up my Prime because I prefer watching it there.
Tubi as well.
I've got the coffin set in my bedroom closet. I need to just pull out the damn coffin and start watching the DVDs again, because I have that up in my closet. And they've been running some sales on that coffin set too. I think you can get it for like $2.
Just be cautious that you're
$2.48.
buying. If you see it for $110 or $105, do not buy that coffin set.
If it's on eBay or something like that, check out the seller. But MPI will bring it down
In
to
the
like
200 range.
in the mid 200 range.
Yeah,
so,
225, 235.
and it is worth the investment. They've alluded to some new DVD releases. We don't know what, or Blu-ray. There's been an alludement to Blu-ray, and we're like, are they going to put the series on Blu-ray? Are they going to do that? So if anyone finds out, we want to know about that. I was told that Josette's Music Box, as I said early on, I want to know, are we getting the real deal this time? So fill us in if you guys hear anything about that, because inquiring minds want to know. I know there's a bunch of books, I think a bunch of fan books that are coming out, so there's a lot of stuff.
And if you've got any of the audio dramas on CD, I just want to say this, keep them, because I have quite a few, but Night Whispers, which was the one with Jonathan Frid and John Carlin. I don't know why I was looking at it on Amazon, and it's used $166 now. I think I got mine for $20. So you got a little gold mine in these things. I would suggest, you know, taking good care of them, and if you can pick some up cheap, get them. You know, but research who you're buying from, like the guy said.
You know, I can mention this now. I have if I don't know if anybody's interested, or if you hear of anybody. As I mentioned at the top of the show, I work primarily as a Judy Garland tribute artist, but I also work out vehemently and about 4 or 5 times a week, and I've started to outgrow some of my handmade Judy Garland replica costumes. They just don't fit me across the shoulders anymore. They don't fit me in the arms, and as my friend Sis pointed out, Judy Garland did not have biceps. She didn't have guns, kiddo. You got to figure this out, because it just doesn't look right. So I got to get myself some new outfits. So there are certain things. I'm not getting rid of my collection. I have 2 copies of the Hermes Press limited edition Victoria Winters books that have the signed Alexandra Moltke book plates in them. So if anyone's interested, let me know, because I'm going to be unloading those, because I have the books. I have the collection of Marilyn Ross paperbacks, but I had bought one, and John had bought one for me as a surprise. I have two of them, and I've got to try. Judy is my livelihood, so I'm going to try to unload these books. If you know anybody who might be interested in having the ones that Alexandra signed, the book plates. And I also have Michael T. Weiss's sweater from the second night of the pilot when he's in bed with Daphne. It's a beautiful sweater. And we'll do screenshots of it. And I think I paid $75 for it at the Las Vegas auction. So that's all I'm looking to get back on it if anybody wants it. I'll post photos of this stuff.
And you can email us if you want to send us an offer at darkshadbros@gmail.com. DARKSHADBROS@gmail.com. Dark ShadBros. And you could send us an offer. That would be awesome sauce.
Yeah, so that's just a couple of little things I'm going to try to unload to, because that's my Judy is my livelihood, darling. I've got to be able to do my shows and have some marvelous gowns to wear.
That's really good.
Flip your.
Yeah, I know. I can't flip the cord over my shoulder, but
I love that.
Anyway,
This was a great episode, guys. Thank you.
this was fun. And again, we are going to be covering 1795. Look for that coming up in a couple of weeks, and a couple of other things.
Michael will be back with us always. He's our number 3. We'll have a number 4 joining us. Jessica will be rejoining us.
Jessica is going to be coming back and co-hosting with Michael as well. So we'll all be here. So again, like and subscribe, guys. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy this nice weather that is finally coming in, and stay in the shadows.
Good night.
Or I can actually put the video on. Let's have that conversation.
Oh my God, we'll take the picture.